Yo, farm CEOs, welcome back. My name is Mwale Gilbert, and always a pleasure chatting with you. Now, today I wanted to just talk about something I find interesting, and that is on daily cash flow. You know, I have had clients that are actually having situations where they are consistently spending their own salaries to run their farms. And you find that they actually are getting part of their pay month on month, passing it on to the farm either to pay for labor or to buy inputs and any of those things. And that can obviously be strenuous because you set up this investment of a farm as a business, hoping that it begins to supplement your already existing income that you have, so that you can have income from the farm and your personal income from the salary, adding together, giving you enough leverage to do many more things, and probably being able to save and invest in other projects. But you find that you set up this business called farm, and then you have got a salary, and it consistently just sucking in money like a black hole. You would think of it. Now, I usually share the following advice with my clients based on some of my experiences, is that you need to be able to have a situation where you introduce on your farm a particular product, in form of a crop or animal that is actually going to allow you to have consistent cash flows. Because remember, they always say in this financial space and business space that cash flow is king. In that you need to have money coming through on a regular basis, as fast as it can, so that it allows you to be able to pay for operational costs as well as certain expansional activities that you want to have at different times. So with that said, I would like to say, make sure that you are able to have different things, not so many enterprises on the farm, but at least a few, with the first one or so that allows you to make money either daily. That's the best case scenario. If you can have something that makes you money on a daily basis, whatever it is that you would grow or keep. And in this case, what you're thinking of usually, if you're looking at it in making money daily, is that for certain number of things, vegetables or certain animals, that you may need to batch them up, stage them back to back, so that while others are reaching the point of selling and coming to an end, others are just maturing. That way you are consistent on your sales. Now, having said that, I would also like to say that it should be minimum of daily cash flow. If not that, then you have weekly cash flow or bi-weekly cash flow, which is every 2 weeks. And then lastly, you have a situation of monthly. So monthly, we can put anything that does 1.5, 1.4, 1.3, 1.2 months being okay. So if you do 1 month and 1 week, that's okay. 1 month, 2 weeks, that's okay. At least you are still 1.5, you're in the middle there. And but beyond that, as the only way of income, then it becomes difficult, because what you then expected to have is a situation where whatever you sell at any other point, let's say for example you sell in 6 months time, is that you are expected to actually make enough money that if you divide that by your monthly expenses, you should break even or at least make profit. So these are the thoughts you must be having when you are choosing an enterprise that you are going to have on your farm. We say enterprise to mean, for example, if you are keeping chickens, that's an enterprise. If you are growing chihuahua, that's an enterprise. If you are growing okra, that's an enterprise. Growing cabbages, that's an enterprise. Growing maize, that's an enterprise. Keeping cattle, enterprise. Pigs, those are enterprises. So my typical advice is that from all these things, whatever you have on the farm, let it give you at least a way of making money on a daily basis either on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis, and at least one month maximum, or 1 month, 2 weeks, not more than that, because you need to have cash coming in. The money that the farm is making must be paying for the salaries of the employees on your farm, as well as also all the other needs, the inputs that the farm may have. So all I'm putting across here is you must have what is called a cash cow. What is the cash cow? So when we are coming into a farm to assist as a team, the biggest thing we look out for is that what is the farm's cash cow? And then we begin to figure out, if there's nothing yet, we introduce something that is going to take up that responsibility of creating cash, so that we can release the pressure on the owner of the farm, because we realize that that is what they need. They no longer need a business that is never ending in needing funds from their personal account. That it must be disconnected so that it now runs itself. If you invest the initial amount of money, can that business sustain that amount of money and grow it? So if the margins are very little, then why are you sticking to that enterprise? It is going to choke you out, and you run like that forever. So we are going to look at quickly a few enterprises. I was doing an analysis of a few enterprises, and people that are doing beef cattle or goats, usually one must know already that at that level of doing beef cattle, as well as also, or cattle for beef, as well as also goats, sheep, what is going to happen with this type of animals is that you have a situation where you need to continue investing money. So if you are doing them at a very small scale, is that it is very difficult to actually make money out of them. So in fact, out of a short research that I was doing, what you notice is that they usually have a tendency of giving you cash on a cycle of about 8 to 12 months. So remember, I was talking about making money every day. Now these that I've mentioned here, among many others, goats, cattle for beef, and also sheep for meat, all these usually have a tendency of wanting to reward you with cash on intervals of 8 to 12 months. So, but you find that most people tell you to say, look, just buy goats because they are less, they need less effort. Well, that's not true, because they'll tell you, goats just eat around, and they need very little maintenance and things like that. But they need care. You need to buy medication. Sometimes you need to supplement them depending on the food around, on the grass and the greenery around where you are. Is that sometimes you may need to supplement them so that they are healthy. Most especially if you are buying these better breeds and all, is that you may need to take really good care of them. And because of that, you are spending a lot of money. And therefore, I want to indicate that according to the research I've done, is that you will find that you are looking at a cash cycle. It means that the times when you actually can convert any of those animals into cash, when you get it as a small one, you're looking at 8 to 12 months period of time. And that's a long time. So the question then is that in that 8 to 12 months time, the inputs you've been buying, the labor you've been paying for, the utilities you have been using, all these things, how did you pay for that? So then it means that on the 8th month or the 12th month, you need to be able to sell as many, so that when you divide that by the number of months that it has taken you to sell anything, you must cover that cost, which in a lot of times, if you are dealing with 50 goats or 60 goats, that is not happening. You are not going to be able to make back, in that period of time what you have spent. So which means that in simple terms, you do look like a good farmer, but you are really actually just going to be spending your own money for the longest time. And that is going to be very difficult unless you've planned that that's how you want to do it. Now, something interesting that we need to look out for, though, for those kind of animals is that they are actually, what you would call, because of their nature, they are good wealth storage and for the purpose of asset growth. So if you're just looking for somewhere to keep money that you are not looking to use anytime soon, and you have got the land for it, and you have got people that you can put out to take care of these things, then that's a good place. You can actually transition your liquid assets, which is cash, into these animals and then leave them there, but don't have the expectation that you are selling this thing regularly and it should make you a lot of money consistently, like every single week or day or per month, because this is if you're dealing with them in small numbers. I'm talking about in small numbers, less than 100, less than 500 or so. But if you start to go above that, then it becomes a good thing to do, because now you can take some of those cows consistently to the abattoir and all those places, and sell them as live meat or dead weight. And dead meat is that you will still be able to get your money, because you can sell that on a regular basis because you have as many of them as possible. But please think about how you make money on a regular basis. It's very important. If you have very few of these animals that I've just mentioned right now, think about other ways you can make money on the farm to cover up the expenses that the farm is actually incurring on a regular basis. So cash flows, what are you going to find around that if you're going to get quick cash flows? Obviously your vegetables, local vegetables to be specific. If you have a market for them, they are pretty good. They give you cash on a regular basis. Number two, you are looking at issues like poultry products, eggs, broilers as well are good. If you go back to the three types of animals I mentioned, cattle, goats, and sheep, is that if you have them in form of dairy, is that they are also pretty good, because now you are selling milk literally on a daily basis, depending on who you are selling it to. So that is something that we need to look out for. What is the cash cow on your farm? What is that thing that you are growing or keeping that is making you money, at least on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, bi-weekly, monthly? That way we know that we can generate enough funds that are going to allow us to run the farm and therefore stop bleeding your personal salary. All right. Thank you very much.